this up here, because that would fucking suck. Hello everybody, this is Uncle Dylan here, got a gay, so you already know what I do. So today we are doing, no, you are not reading that wrong. A lot of you guys recommended that I do this because, well, I never really done this what if, and it's been recommended like a fucking lot. Like, it's not even funny, it's just like, wow. You guys really want this what if. So here you are. What if Deku took the mantle of Red Hood? Now, pretty much, if you don't know who the fuck Red Hood is, then obviously you are either A, been in the dark, or B, just don't give a crap. Or if you do know him, but you know the old version, mostly him when he was a bad guy, then you're probably older than me. Because we're talking about this new and improved Red Hood, a vigilante mostly. Ain't nothing too big, nothing too small, well, the usual. Fuck. Now, why did Izuku take the mantle? Well, he was always going to take the mantle of Red Hood because he was trained by Red Hood. No, literally. He was trained by Red Hood. So he was always going to take the mantle. But here's the thing. Red Hood was training him with the same way that Batman trained him. The only difference is he taught him, like, patience and all that. The important stuff. Now you're all probably thinking, oh, Inko is dead. Or, oh, Inko was abusive. Or, the least popular one, oh, Inko abandoned him. Neither, actually. Not all three. She died giving birth to him, and he was always raised in an orphanage. But the orphanage pretty much stank. And that is not like a freaking joke. No, literally. It pretty much treated him poorly because, well, it was Gotham. It was legit like all that. It was literally bad, which is saying something. So, pretty much, Izuku took the mantle of Red Hood. Mostly because Jason Todd could not. Mostly because he was too tired or too old. So I'm going to say in this one, he was just too old to take the mantle of Red Hood. And passed away at the age of, well, I'm going to say 80? Yeah, he passed away at the age of 80, which makes sense if you think about it. No, that's too easy. Red Hood is a lot more than that. No, Red Hood passed away by cruelty. What do I mean by cruelty? Joker. I mean, pretty much one of the villains happened. Some random guy, I'm going to say, like I said, some random person killed him. Which saying a lot, considering that Izuku is a cruel and heartless man. But in this one, Izuku became something of a punisher. Now, here's the difference between Red Hood and Izuku. Izuku is 100 times more brutal than Red Hood. And I mean brutal. Well, it's not a freaking joke. Like, if you give him the reason to save a child, then he won't. Because in his eyes, the child is just lucky and should just be grateful that it gets a quick death. That's Izuku's thoughts. So pretty much with Izuku with pretty much Red Hood dead, the world needed a new one. So he called himself, and this is not a Hydra method, he calls himself the Blood Eagle. Well, you all actually thought I was going to say Red Skull, didn't you? I'm joking, of course. No, that vigilante what if is up for another one. It's not going to happen. No, it's not in this video. No, that's not Izuku's title. Not yet, anyway. Wait. Izuku takes the mantle of Red Hood. Now, Izuku, I'm going to go with the classic Red Hood. Not really the classic, but let's just say in this one, Izuku does wear an actual Red Hood. But it's like Jason Todd's previous Red Hood armor, like in the comics, except he wears Jason's Todd old mask. Like that type of thing. Ooh, excuse me. Now Izuku pretty much left the interior. Now pretty much Izuku also came across the new and improved him of pretty much a nice and caring man, or at least he thought, or at least people thought that he was. But the Gotham GCPD, even they admit that this guy was kind of brutal. Shattering, because he doesn't spare people, obviously, so he doesn't even attempt to spare people. Like, to his eyes, it was a bloody joke. So pretty much, Izuku took up the mantle. Now, Batman have heard about Jason's death, but has heard that he also took an apprentice. Now, Izuku is blank. Like, there is nothing known about him. It's like he pretty much popped out of nowhere and just started killing people. Well, that's saying something. Now, Izuku uses an immense amount of weapons, but his main one, and this is not a Jason Voorhees reference, not yet anyway, pretty much Izuku's main weapon of choice is the machete. Mostly because it's sturdy, it's light, and it can also do a amount of damage. The only difference is, this weapon is actually made to kill Kryptonians. Yep, the Izuku made a Kryptonian machete that was made to kill Kryptonians. His secondary weapon of choice is a sledgehammer, actually. I know. Didn't you give Izuku a sledgehammer in a previous episode? Nope. Oh, that was not a sledgehammer, that was a friggin' another hammer. But that doesn't mean he doesn't use it. Izuku does not use a crowbar because, well, there's no point. Like, he's using a freaking sledgehammer, so there's no fucking point. I blinked twice, but oh well. So pretty much Izuku come across some villains. Now he does use guns, of course, but he also is a little bit more stealthier than Red Hood. But he actually does put silencers on his gun, but his main silent weapon is the crossbow that he carries around like the Walking Dead. He carries it around, and he is no shame in using that thing. But he only uses it in case he gets a drop on someone. Say if he gets a drop on someone big. And he also has them coated with a rare type of toxin, saying that only Green Arrow would hit by. So pretty much this is when we get to Izuku, who is pretty much who's pretty much walking in an alleyway. Now mind you, Izuku, whose appearance is a little bit different from others, because in this one he's not Asian. Nope, he's actually from America. He's actually born in America. But his hair is different. He's more of pretty much a brown-haired color with more of a dark jet black eyes. And considering a little bit of a freaking goatee, because Izuku was training on Izuku, who is in his teens, but he has a heavy amount of Russian in his family, so pretty much he is sturdy. He broad-shouldered, odors, basculate, and grow, and above all a sturdy frame. And he's also been mentally preparing himself in case if he faces someone like the Joker, which something that a lot of people don't intend to get prepared that easily, especially since you are dealing with a psychopathic clown. Luckily, Izuku has prepared his mind for that. So pretty much, yeah. But let's get back to Izuku, shall we? So when Izuku walks down the streets and he is minding his own business, by the way, Izuku is also like not a crime lord, but he's strong enough he could be, if he was not a good guy, which he is, obviously. Like, Izuku just doesn't show it because his ways of killing people are a little bit brutal. But anyway, Izuku's walking downtown, and this is when, by the way, he's wearing his costume, and this is when he comes across some poor kid. I'm going to say the kid was like 3 or 4 years old. And the kid came across this dead kid. Now, pretty much, he immediately knows who did it because of the ways of the cuts. pretty much he sees it, and it's mostly described as a butcher's blade. Hey, and he immediately knows who did it. Pig. And in case you don't know who Mr. Pig is in Origin, and actually, now that I think about it, even I don't know who he is. I only remember the name, I actually don't remember the origin. Huh. Something new, huh? You learn something new. Alright, give me a minute. DC. I think it was Dr. Pig? Yeah, I think it was Dr. Pig. Oh, Professor Pig! Alright, so shout out to Marvelous Videos. Have fun! I hope I said his name right.
Oink, oink. What the? You don't want to come across this schizophrenic evil villain, Professor Pig, explored. All the superheroes are known to deal with different kinds of evil villains, and Batman is no exception. But when the right time came, the creators of Batman decided to introduce the eerie, creepy, and mentally ill villain which the world had never seen before. The horror world has witnessed innumerable iconic as well as underrated mass villains capable of terrorizing your subconscious mind. But here's one of the weirdest, most insane characters ever produced by DC Comics, Professor Pig.
Shall we go into dinner? Chop, chop.
So what makes Professor Pig wearing a mask of a pig and a butcher's apron distinguished from the others? He doesn't just kidnap and slaughter his victims. He is obsessed with perfection and considers human beings as imperfect, broken individuals. Hence he uses chemicals and surgeries to permanently alter his victims to mind-control automatons called Dolotrons, or sometimes into human-animal hybrids. Grant Morrison and Andy Kubert created the character of Professor Pig, who debuted in the story of Batman issue 666 in July 2007 by DC Comics. Later he was a reoccurring villain in the mainstream DC universe.
All messed up, inside out.
Pig, make her better. There's an interesting backstory to the name of Professor Pig. Here you go. Morrison got the inspiration for the name from the song Pygmalism, written by the Scottish songwriter Mamas for the Japanese singer Kahimi Carey. Now, Professor Pig appearing in the song was, in turn, based on the character of Professor Henry Higgins from George Bernard Shaw's stage play Pygmalion. Professor Higgins was an uptight perfectionist who trained a Cockney flower girl, Eliza Doolittle, to become a perfect lady in influency and mannerism. Now comes the best part. Pygmalion originates from ancient Greek mythology and the narrative poem Metamorphosis by Ovid. In Greek mythology, Pygmalion was a Greek king and sculptor who made an ivory statue of a woman. The sculpture was so perfect that Pygmalion fell in love with it. That was quite a backstory. I know that is unfamiliar to link the sweet love backstory of Pygmalion and the insane mind-controlling villain Professor Pig, but the common thing among the three characters is the obsession with their own concept of perfection, creating or altering someone or something to match the level of perfection according to their satisfaction. Pig was only interested in transforming living human beings into robot-like pain-resistant Dolotrons.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The origins of one of the weirdest Batman villains. The actual name of Professor Pig was Laszlo Valentine, who was a former agent of Spiral, a corrupt United Nations agency that was engaged in designing neo-pharmaceutical products like mind-rotting gas compounds. While experimenting with his compounds, Laszlo became affected by his own created compound and was transformed into a violent, paranoid, schizophrenic scientist. With his mental breakdown, he developed a quest for perfection and started performing terrible operations on his confined victims, converting them into Dolotrons. Now let us see what Dolotrons are. Pig attached doll masks to the faces of his victims, which began to transform their heads. Then Pig performed surgery on his victims, who were lobotomized into organic robots without any thought and feelings, resembling red-haired Cupid dolls. This process made Dolotrons highly resistant to pain and mindlessly attacking their targets. Dolotron was Professor Pig's idea of perfection. He was fond of his makeshift mother made of nails and boards. He seemed to have auditory hallucinations from his makeshift mother, who constantly monitored and commanded his work for improvement. Dolotrons have been suffering a fate that was even worse than death. Pig and his Dollatrons debuted in the 2007 story Batman in Bethlehem, published in DC Comics in Batman number 666 series. There he was featured as a leading crime lord of Gotham and was shown rather ugly without his iconic mask, using chemicals to torture people to create Dollatrons. He was later murdered and crucified by the Bat Devil. Later in 2009, the story of Batman and Robin reintroduced Laszlo Valentine as the boss of a gang called Circus of Strange, unless some experimental mishap transformed him into Professor Pig. Here he sold drugs to the underworld and generated the fund for carrying out his experiments of creating Dollatrons. By interrogating the gang members of Circus of Strange, Batman and Robin discovered Pig's plans to devastate Gotham City by spreading a mind-control drug throughout the infected Dollatrons. He even tried to hold the city for ransom. Pig was arrested and taken to Blackgate Penitentiary. Professor Pig in various story arcs. Later in 2010, the character of Professor Pig returned into the plot of Batman and Robin Must Die. In this story, Pig was appointed under supervillain Dr. Simon Hurt when the population of Gotham was affected by a virus. As more and more people became affected, Pig took advantage of the situation and escaped from Blackgate Penitentiary. With the increasing surge of infected people, more and more riots also occurred under the influence of Dr. Hurt, compelling Batman to confront Dr. Hurt and take control of the situation. The infected civilians were confined in quarantine while Professor Pig was kept in Arkham Asylum. There was a reboot in the Batman series by DC Comics under the New 52 banner. Professor Pig's backstory was further extended to the story of Batman Incorporated, Leviathan Strikes, in December 2011. In addition to the backstory of Pig, his son Janos Valentine was introduced into the story, engaged with criminal organization Leviathan. Jason claimed that he had learned to be immune to pain from his father. Pig continued his cameo appearances as an Arkham Asylum inmate in the Forever Evil storyline. In October 2013, Andy Kubert wrote a prequel of Batman in Bethlehem titled Damien, Son of Batman, where Pig and his Dollatrons appeared. Batman tried to control his experiments on kidnapped children, but the Dollatrons expelled Batman while Pig couldn't be arrested. In the first volume of Batman Eternal, which ran from April 2014, Pig played a comparatively more significant role. The powerful mob boss Carmine Falcone was determined to rule the criminal underground of Gotham City. He framed Batman for destroying Pig's laboratory. Enraged Pig sent his remaining Dollatrons to attack Batman, but when Batman told him the truth, Pig attacked and destroyed one of the labs run by Falcone. Eventually, Pig converted many people to human-animal hybrids and confronted Falcone. Pig captured Falcone and was about to operate on him when Batman stopped him from doing so. Pig also appeared in the comic series featuring Wonder Woman and Robin, related publications where Pig used an abandoned theater for his criminal activities under supervillain Brotherhood. Pig also became a reoccurring villain in the animated series Beware the Batman, released in 2013. Here again, Pig was featured as a deranged surgeon. Along with Mr. Toad, Professor Pig targeted people in the fashion industry who were responsible for deranging animal life. They were stopped and defeated by Batman and Katana. Later, Pig and Toad were released from Blackgate Penitentiary by Ra's al Ghul to conspire and kill Batman. After a few months, Pig stole Kirk Langstorm's formula, transforming the scientist into Man-Bat. Then they convinced him to steal chemicals that would create a controlled army of human-animal hybrids. Ultimately, they were defeated by Batman and Katana and taken to Blackgate. A slightly different but fascinating story of Professor Pig is noted when Pig is seen in a side quest of the video game Batman Arkham Knight, released in 2015. In this video game, Professor Pig conducted his surgeries to make Dollatrons in an operation theater hidden under his Pretty Doll's Parlor beauty salon. He used to wrap their heads and hands with bandages and dress them in hospital robes before putting the doll masks on their faces. Batman came across 6 mutilated bodies strung up and opera music being played in the speakers around the bodies while words like failure and defective were written beside them. The brutal process of converting people to Dollatrons corrupted the DNA and destroyed their fingerprints. Hence, Batman had no option but to use deep tissue scanner to look for unique marks to identify the bodies in the missing persons database. After investigation, Batman traced out Laszlo Valentine, aka Professor Pig, who took the lease of Pretty Doll's Parlor. On reaching the parlor, Batman heard the same opera music which was played with the corpses, making him more suspicious. Eventually, Batman found the entrance to the operation theater and intervened with an ongoing operation. Batman ordered Pig to release all of the prisoners, but instead Pig and his Dollatrons initiated fierce combat with Batman. Finally, Batman defeated Pig and his Dollatrons and locked them in the Gotham City Police Department, or the GCPD. DC Comics was still not happy yet. In May 2016, they relaunched their comic books under the DC Rebirth brand. Pig had been such an influential character that he kept on appearing over and over again in Nightwing issue 18, Harley Quinn issue 43 and 44, even in Batwoman issue 11, and many others.
Oink, oink.
God damn it. Wait, Game of Thrones, House of Dragons? What the fuck?
Little piggy,
What changed in the TV adaptation? Laszlo Valentine sees his first on-screen presence in the 4th season of the television series Gotham, starred by Michael Cerverez. He was known to kill cops and place a pig head over the corpse. In the comic version, Pig was known to wear a pig mask, while in Gotham he appeared genuinely creepy as an actual species of a pig's face was sewn together and worn as a mask, which made Cerverez extremely uncomfortable. Unlike the original Pig, who was obsessed with the perfection of human beings, Gotham Pig was obsessed with corruption in GCPD. Thus, he was on a mission to slaughter every corrupt police officer and slap a pig head on him. Instead of Dolatrons, the Gotham Pig had a few low-level criminals working for him who procured pig heads for him. He was also seen on a pig farm implying that he intended to raise his own pigs. Why would he suddenly do that? That is because he needed a lot of pigs, which meant there would be a lot of murders in Gotham City. Pig made his film debut in the animated film Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay, where he was again featured as an underground surgeon who worked under the supervillains.
It's over. But Pig can fix you too. Make you perfect, like the others.
Pig standing out from the remaining Batman villain. Laszlo Valentine stands out from the rest among the list of the most equated villains that Batman faced, like Joker, Ra's al Ghul, Scarecrow, Bane, Riddler, and others. Batman was involved with the creepy dark corners of life for the first time. Pig was schizophrenic paranoid, having his unique concept of perfection with no underground or reason. He felt extremely proud to be associated with the character of Pygmalion, as he believed that the Dolatrons were his work of art, a perfect form of human beings who had no feelings, no pain, no gender. That is why Pig is spelled as P-Y-G, being the short form of Pygmalion and not P-I-G associated with the pig's mask that he wears. Like the sculpture Pygmalion, he loved his creations too. He reminds me of the schizophrenic surgeon Dr. Giggles, who giggled and murdered his victims. What Pig does with his victims is even worse than being dead. Let us hear what Grant Morrison has to say about Pig. Professor Pig isn't from another world. He's from here, but he's very, very sick.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and
Yep, that's Pig. Shit. That's Dr. Piggy, alright. Hey, Izuku Midoriya pretty much finds him. So pretty much when Izuku finds this Dr. Pig, this is when Izuku actually runs to the gate. Now pretty much when Izuku gets to the pig and he finds the location of Professor Pig, he doesn't even hesitate to see him. And this is when he sees Pig playing soap opera and having his Dolatrons. Now, this is when he sees the little girl. Or sees a girl. And this is like some random girl. This is when you hear him say, Pig can make you better. Pig can make you pretty. Wink, wink, wink. I'm not gonna do that thing. It just sounds wrong. So pretty much after that, Izuku came across. This is when Izuku just shot the frickin' guy's hand off, which you immediately hear from him going. And this is when Izuku pops up. Sorry, Piggy, your big bad wolf is here. No, Pig must make perfect. Pig can make you perfect. But are you perfect? What? How can I be perfect if I'm not going to be created by someone perfect? What? Pig is perfect. Pig is professional. How does Pig know, though? How does Pig know that he's perfect to make me perfect? Pig. This is when Izuku who says, you want to know why you're not perfect? Why? Why, Pig, not perfect to make you perfect? This is when he pulls out a gun, because you have a bullet in your head. And this is when Izuku shoots Professor Pig right into the head, which is pretty much brutal if you say it like that. And, well, actually, no, that was too quick, even for that guy. Pretty much Izuku shot him in the shoulder, and shot him in both of the hands. Which made it worse for Professor Pig. So Professor Pig was just holding his hands. By the way, he didn't even create any Dolatrons, not yet anyway. So pretty much when Izuku got there and he sees these when he sees that the girl was about to become a Dolatron, on pure fucking coincidence on that one, when I'm not gonna lie. Izuku pretty much came across the other Dollotron and just walked up to it, but shooting it right in between the head. I mean, this one pretty much Izuku got to him. But this one Izuku who picked up the thing he used to pretty much create his Dollotrons. Pig is now just squealing and about to go, but this is when Izuku grabbed the, well, thingy. When I mean thingy, he legit grabs the hacksaw, the type of saw you use to cut bones. This is when Izuku grabs Piggy and pretty much starts sawing his legs off. Well, Professor Pig starts squealing like an actual pig. And you can hear the bones snapping as soon as he starts chomping off the legs. And it gets worse and worse as soon as he continues chopping them up. After Izuku got done chopping off the first leg, Izuku decided to be a little bit more creative for the second one. And grabbed the Professor Pig's foot and starts hacking and sawing. So pretty much, this is when he goes left and right, left and right. 1, 2, 1, 2, left and right. And Izuku just managed to chop off the foot. This is when the piggy screams in agony, and he just looks at him. Why? Pig can make you pretty. Pig is all ready. Sorry, Piggy, but I'm perfect at what I do. And what is that you are? I'm a monster. Monsters kill other monsters. Besides, no one will miss you. No one is going to mourn for your perfection. No one is going to save you. Not even Batman. Now this is when Izuku grabs that pig, and he pretty much grabs him right in the throat. And this is when he grabs a drill. Say bye-bye to the sight. Now this is when pretty much he starts drilling into the pig's eyes. And Pig is now just squealing, and pretty much blood is dripping everywhere. Bubbles start popping up. Izuku, getting annoyed by the squealing, pretty much grabs the drill and puts the drill directly to his jaw. And pretty much drills it so hard that it pretty much shatters the jaw. Well, at least it's less annoying. At least. And this when he starts continuously doing it. And he does not stop. Izuku shows no remorse. He continues sawing. This is when he starts putting the drill right into the other eye. All you hear is a... That's all you hear from Mr. Pig. And Pig is pretty much shaking and barely holding on for life. This is when Izuku just slaps him. Don't you die yet. I'm not done. This is when Izuku grabs those, what were they called? Finger cutters. They're these type of tools that you use to cut people's fingers off. I don't remember what they're called. Oh, I just call them finger cutters because that's what they were used. They were used to cut fingers. But this is when Izuku thought that was too easy. So Izuku grabs Pig's butcher cleaver and pretty much starts chopping off the hands. And Pig is now just aching in agony from pain. And Pig is literally actually trying to fight back. He is swinging one arm, but Izuku grabs it and cuts off the arm. Now Piggy is armless and legless, now I think about it. But this is when Izuku's not done. Izuku grabs the bone saw again and starts opening the torso. The pig is still screaming, and more surprisingly, the pig is still alive. And pretty much, Izuku just sawed left and right, up and down, and all that. And so pretty much when Izuku finally had his fill, and Izuku just leaves, drenched in blood, and pretty much walking to the girl. Now the girl is more horrified of him now. But Izuku cuts her free and tells her and says, "Get out of here." And she leaves. Izuku walks off. Now with the girl who's running and running. Until she hears, "Well, well, look at this. Hey there, little girl. Are you lost?" She looks in horror. "Don't worry, little girl. We'll take good care of you." This is when they point knives right at her, and she is just scared even more. Until a batarang came to save her day. And this is when pretty much she sees Batman. And ow. The fuck? That hurt. Sorry about that. This is when this is when Batman goes to her and immediately she hugs him out of pure fear and trauma. Well, like, she's actually pretty traumatized at what Izuku did. This is when Batman comforts her. Because this is when she starts explaining what Red Hood did. And he is not, well, it's hard to believe is the best way Izuku think that Batman is thinking. So Batman pretty much ran to them, and this is when pretty much Izuku who gets there. But here's the thing that he knows. When he gets there and he contacts the GCPD, he sees what's left of Professor Pig. This is when fuck, what was his name? He was Batgirl's father. God damn it, what was his name? Commander Wallace, I think? Pause break for a minute. I need to ask my mom. She's a DC expert and a DC nerd, actually. I'll come back. Gordon. Thank you, Mother. Here, I owe you a pint, and I owe you a 3-day, no bothering mom ticket. Like I ever make those. So pretty much Izuku Midoriya pretty much walked down. I was literally just walking up down the stairs. Although when you're making what-ifs, you're always sitting down and you rarely move unless you're grabbing something to drink. You kind of get dehydrated. You kind of get out of breath. What the fuck? Okay, again, give me a minute. Duck, I'm back. Now, pretty much, this is when Commissioner Gordon shows up. And he just says, "Fucking hell. Are you sure this was done by the Red Hood?" "No, the Red Hood would never do this. But I think this is not the Red Hood we know." You got that right. I may not know Red Hood, but I know that he would never do this. I heard the things he's done. But this is kind of a low thing. Like, God. There's gonna be big talk about this. About how Professor Pig died. I know. This is when Izuku said. This is when you just hear Izuku say. I mean, this is when we get to Izuku. Actually, no. This is when we stay with Batman. So we stay with Batman. We stay with Batman. Batman pretty much just says in his words, would you expect someone to say like him would say, "Get going, you fucking wanker." So pretty much Izuku came across. I'm joking. But luckily this is when Izuku just says, Well, this is when Batman says, "Look, I don't know. But I do know one thing. This is not the bad Red Hood we know." This one I hear, "You got that right. Red Hood we know will not do this." Could be another vigilante that took up the mantle, yes. Yes. I heard rumors that Jason and Todd took an apprentice, but I thought that was all shits and giggles. Doesn't look like it's shits and giggles. Huh. Alright. Gotta admit, wasn't expecting this. Neither was I. So how are we gonna deal with this? We can't shoot our way through. Ooh, we sure as hell can't fight. You got an idea? Yeah. We wait until what he sees. We see what they will do. Dude, Batman, I'm not trying to sound rude or anything, but this guy just pretty much just butchered Pig. This one Commissioner Gordon says butcher is an understatement. But this is probably worse than what Pinhead would do to someone. Sounds like something that Freddy Krueger would do, actually. Yeah, no kidding. So, Batman, you think you can probably what? Talk to this guy? I don't think that. I think this guy has made up what he does. So what? We find this guy and stop him from doing this to anyone else? Yes. Or at least try to find him. We truly don't know where he is. So, let us find him. So pretty much after that, this is when Izuku managed to get to the other person. Now this is when Izuku pretty much just sitting down, and this is when he just sees the other person. Huh. This is his next target, by the way. Now pretty much this is when he comes across the person. Now this is like some random villain. And once again, and this is when he just grabs a baseball bat. Actually no, he grabs his sledgehammer. Now he has modified this is when by the way, I forgot to mention, he modified the thing. Meaning Izuku could have been anything. So pretty much this is when Izuku just sits there. Look, Izuku. This is when he says, well, we got something. But I know that this is not the person that we dealt with. Let's find a way to deal with it. Pretty much, this is when Izuku grabs the guy. Hi. Oh shit. Hey, look, dude. Everyone knows, I already know what you did to Mr. Pig. I want nothing to do. This is when he grabs him by the throat. Harley. Where is he? Who knows? Was probably getting all omushi with Joker. This one Izuku who grabs the saw blade that is still stained with Mr. Pig's blood. Look, man, I don't know. Oh, I don't want nothing to do with that clown, I swear. Here. Look, like I said, this one Izuku says, look. This one Izuku just says, look, man, like I said, I don't know what happened. And I don't know what happened. I don't know anything. Wrong answer. This one he's about to tip the blade until a stick hits his hand off. And Izuku looks left to see him. Look, man, there are other ways to get a man to talk. Who are you? The name's Nightwing. And man, you are one brutal man. And the thing you did to Mr. Pig? Not cool, man. Says the one who gives people concussions and brain damage. Which, how are you any better? Didn't your kind make Mr. Freeze? If you mean my kind, you mean in corrupted civilians, then no, I did not make Mr. Freeze. That was by a different corruption. A corruption that will pay dearly. You're gonna pretty much become this? What would Jason Todd say? Shut the fuck up and fight. Yeah, that does sound like something he would say. Hey, let's see how much punches you can handle. Let's see how much pain you can process. This is when Izuku puts on some brass knuckles that has a little bit of blades on it. Now, pretty much these brass knuckles are pretty much with blades on it. So when Izuku punches just Nightwing, he felt the blades. And immediately he slices and hacks. He pretty much pulls a shredder mostly. And he hacks and he whacks. And pretty much Nightwing, aka Dick, is on the ground pretty much bleeding because, ouch. Ouch. And this is when he just looks at him. How did you? You're predictable. You're pathetic, really. Now back to you. This is when the guy runs off. This is when Izuku's about to run after him, but Nightwing grabs his arm. Oh no, you don't. This is when Izuku grabs Nightwing, and just breaks his arm to the point where the bone sticks out and the blood squirts everywhere. Dick screams and pretty much is now left. F there. So pretty much this is when he goes to find the guy. But this is when pretty much he is found. This is when pretty much he's still running and running. But literally, this is when Izuku comes across the guy. Trapped in an alleyway. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. 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 Oh, mister. Look, man. I don't know where Harley is, but I know who might. Who? Try talking to someone. Try talking to a man. Try talking to her parents. Maybe they know. Her parents? Yes. They go to a random a strip club owned by the Falcones. That's their usual hangout spot. I swear. I swear. There. If you say so. Right. Right. So, can I go? Yeah. You can go. This is when Izuku pulls out a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun. With your blood splatter all over this wall. And this is when he just shoots the gun. And this is when pretty much the blood and brains, eyeballs, and all that are gushed all over the place. And pretty much Izuku, this is when the body just flumps to the ground and the blood starts gushing out of the head. Well, the stump, actually, because there's nothing left of the guy. And Izuku just walks off. This is when he hears, "Jeez, Paul." This is when Izuku just walks off. But what he doesn't know is a man pretty much watching him from the distance. this will be interesting. Pretty much, this is when Izuku, who runs off and he continues walking. Until he reaches the strip club. Now, pretty much this is when the bouncer says, "You can't go in." This is when he points a revolver directly to the bouncer's balls. This is when he says, "Your balls, your life, your choice." Alright. Jeez. This is when pretty much Izuku grabs him. I mean, this is when pretty much the guy's like, okay, I'm going. This is when he just leaves. Good. See you later. And Izuku starts walking off. And this is when the guy's like, Jesus. What was... That was freaky. This is when Izuku just grabs the guy. By the head. I mean, this is when... Actually, no. This is when Izuku walks in. And this is when he finds Harley's family. Now, Harley's mom is obviously on the dance floor while the father's at the bar. This is when pretty much he walks in and drags the bartender away. The hell? And he just slams him. Whoa, man! I ain't part of the strip club! Oh, this one Izuku just holds a gun out. Hey, man, you can do whatever you want to me, but just don't kill me. What? Really? What makes you think I ain't gonna want to rape you? Just because I have a gun pointed at your head does not mean I want to rape you. God damn it. Not today, babe. I'm a little busy. Easy. What a fucking coincidence, too. What the hell? Oh. Nope. Not today. Okay. So pretty much, this is when Izuku points the gun directly to your daughter. Where is she? Who? Harley. Your daughter. Where is she? I don't know. Oh. This is when he clocks the gun. Look, I'm telling the truth. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. He? You even forgot your own daughter's gender? Look, I have a gun pointed directly at my face. That's not really helping. This is when he starts pointing it at his balls. How about now? That ain't helping. Neither is delaying. Hey, Harley, now. Look, she's probably with the Joker. Who wears the Joker? What are you, stupid? I'm the guy who has the gun pointing at your balls, and you're gonna be dumb enough to call me stupid? Okay, fair point. The Joker's at the old circus. It's been abandoned for years. That's his main hideout. That's always been his main hideout. If you don't believe me, you could go there yourselves. Elf. Who runs this place? Falcone? How many men has he got? A lot? Why? Good. Then you get to do something for me. What? What? This one he just grabs a bone saw. Oh, fuck. Okay. And next thing you know, you just hear the poor bastard screaming. This one pretty much he tapped. This one, and we get to one of the Falcone's men who was just chatting and drinking with the boys until Izuku tapped him on the shoulder. The fuck do you want? got a present for Falcone. You think you could deliver it? Right. Sure, I guess. Don't you want to deliver it yourself? Well, it's not really that important. And besides, I have a busy schedule that's more important than him. See you around. Oh, right. Hey. So pretty much after with Izuku, who sat down, I mean when Izuku just walked up, left, he just walked up to them, and Izuku comes across the new and improved hip. I mean this is when he just walks out. Now we get to Black Mass. Now Black Mass is pretty much just doing what he does best, and that is just there. Existing, actually. Huh. Huh. Anyway. Huh. All right. Anyway, this is when Izuku just says, all right. Huh, alright. This is when pretty much we get to Black Mass. Now, Black Mass is doing his usual paperwork. Alright. This is when Izuku comes across. This is when Black Mass hears, "Sir, you have a packet. A present for you." A present? Huh. Alright then. From who? Red Hood, sir. He didn't say, it said DB. I mean, it said I am. I am. Alright? Bring it in. This is when he puts it down. This is when they see the present. $50. I bet you it's probably some decapitated head or something. Then when he opens the box, and immediately he's like, "Oh my god!" He immediately pulls his mask up and just starts throwing up. What the fuck? This is when the thugs see it, and immediately one of them throws up. One of them says, "Damn." And this is when they see someone's literal penis and balls, literally just right there, are inside the present. And it said, as "Happy Birthday, I am." From I am to Black Mask. This is when one of the thugs say, "Oh, fuck. I didn't know he would deliver that. You met the bastard who delivered this?" Yeah. Who was it? He looked like Red Hood. There's no fucking way that was Red Hood. Red Hood is may kill people, but he sends heads decapitate Asians, but he sure as hell doesn't do this. I think I'm gonna be sick. This is not. Oh. Man, that's the last thing I wanted to see today. Well, there goes my lunch. And there goes my idea of having a cow. Oh, what should we do? We take this as a message. This is a Red Hood, right? Yeah, this is from Red Hood. This guy knows if he's trying to strike fear, it's fucking working. Boss, are you actually scared? No, a cut off penis pretty much just not just scare me away. But I know when to strike and when not to. This is not someone you want to strike. Let's just keep it at that. I can tell when someone needs to strike and when someone needs to die. And this is not one of them. This is one of those moments where you stay low. Hope for the best. Doesn't take an expert to know that. Right, sir. With Izuku, who is now heading to pretty much the circus place, and this is when he sees a couple of Joker's goons. And this is when they see him. Hey, hey, hey! It's the Red Hood! What? Hello, Mr. Red Hood! Are you here to fight? Are you here to help us kill Patsy? Hey, nope. I'm not here to help you. This one Izuku pulls out a sledgehammer. I'm here to kill you. And this is when Izuku, the clown goon's just bringing out some switchblades. Izuku gives them a look like, what a bunch of idiots. And this is when he charges at them. Now, when he charges at them, Izuku pretty much dodges one of the switchblades and literally lets the sledgehammer slam to the guy's skull. And this one he says, ow, that's smart. And pretty much Izuku whacks him right in the jaw. It's a sledgehammer. Of course it's gonna hurt. This is when Izuku charges at them. And pretty much the goon tries to smite them. Or he tries to smack him with the blade. Izuku has the upper hand in this one by length. Which is pretty rare considering that most people just use a crowbar. But Izuku pretty much just slammed and just blunt the side of the hammer and just slam it in. But this is when Izuku loses it because the guy managed to pull it off his grip. Now the guy hasn't. But this is when Izuku grabs a regular hammer. Sees a regular hammer. And this one he uses the sharp end, aka the end that you use to pull out nails, and slam it directly into his skull. Pull a Michael Myers kill on that one, didn't ya? So pretty much after killing the first one and grabbing his sledgehammer, this one he goes to the goon. Hey, you want to hear a joke? Sure. Knock, knock. Who's there? You. You who? You who are dead. And this one he starts slamming the hedgehammer directly to the guy's skull. Brains are spattered everywhere. And pretty much it is a brutal one too. The brains pretty much spattered the entire place. Brains is all over the dino. This is when Izuku starts walking up to the place. And this is when he sees Harley. You stay away from Mr. J. I'm not here for Mr. J. I'm here for you. Me? What would you want with old little me? That's when Izuku pops his neck and pops his knuckles. A little bit of payback for what you did. What did I do? Kill your lover? No. No. Oh. Ooh, did I break you? Are you mad at me that I sent that word, or that Batman fucks bats? I could care less about that guy. Then what are you here for me for? I'll tell you after I beat you. This is when she starts charging him with his watermelon. But Izuku pretty much throws the corpse, which distracts her a little bit. And she pretty much... This is when Izuku grabs a paintball gun and literally shoots it right at Harley's eyes. Ah! That's smart! Ugh! I can't see a dang thing! This is when Izuku pretty much has the opportunity and slams the sledgehammer directly to her kneecaps. Ow! Frick! She falls to the ground. And this is when Izuku grabs her watermelon and pretty much breaks her back with it. And she screams at the top of her lungs because that shit hurts. And this is when Izuku just grabs her by the hair and starts slamming her to the ground. Her face is pretty much getting blood gushed up. Her teeth are falling out. And Izuku... this is when Izuku just plunges the saw blade directly to her neck. I said I would tell you why I'm after you, didn't I? You killed my dog, and I'm here to repay the favor. So, wait a minute. You killed couple of Mr. J's goons, and beat me up, tortured me over a dog? Yep. And I'm going to enjoy every last bit. But I'm not going to kill you here. I'm going to kill you somewhere worse. This is when Izuku pretty much says, once a year, I will find you. This is when Izuku's... Sorry about that, my dog's barking. This one he says, when I find... once a year, I will take a piece of your flesh. One by one, I will take it. And I will enjoy it. This is when Izuku just looks at her breasts. Starting now. This is when he grabs a breast and he says, "Ooh, kinky." You're not gonna think that in a minute. And starts cutting it off. Harley Quinn starts screaming in pain. And pretty much this is when... And Izuku cut it off. Well, Harley is now holding her side and pretty much... Us just now holding it. In pain and looking at Izuku with pure intentions of harm. Save that anger. You're too pathetic and weak. And as Izuku just starts walking off. This is when Izuku goes directly to the place and said, this is when he just goes to Jay now. Now this is when he hears, "Harley, where are you? I can't kill Batman without you?" Boy wonder. Here to save Batman? Nope. What? Why do I need to save him? Wait. Seriously? This is Batman. Didn't you train it? Didn't he train you? Nope. The previous Red Hood did. You are just an annoyance in my way. An annoyance, huh? Do you truly not know who I am? Some stupid-looking clown that needs to find a better fashion style and less makeup? Apparently? You little twerp. I'm the Joker, the clown prince of crime. And, oh, please. I've met more intimidating people in my toilet. Besides, I already got my piece. Now, I'm just coming after you. Now, I'm just dealing with the one thing that Batman cannot. Oh, really? And what is the one thing that Batman can't do that you... And this one, pretty much, he felt a slight pain between his privates. My balls! You shot my balls! That. And consider that a warning, Joker. Next time, I won't miss your head. What a baby. It's just your balls. You can get a plastic surgery. This is when he's just seen in this. And this is when Izuku just walks off. Batman managed to get out of his trap because, well, it's Batman. You can't really trap him. And he is holding on. This is when he sees Joker holding on in dear life, like, I kid you not, in dear life, he's holding his balls because, well, he got shot there. Now, I'm not going to say what type of gun it was, so I'll leave it to the imagination to you. So pretty much, this is when Izuku walks off. And this is when pretty much he gets to the others. Well, not others, but this is when he immediately hears, impressive. Huh? Oh. Hello there. You're not attacking me? You're not giving me a reason to. Besides, you're a mercenary. You're living what you do. So, what do you want? A proposal. A proposal? My, we haven't even started dating yet. Spare me the flirts. What do you need, Bane? You are showing great potential, but you're gonna need more than that if you're gonna defeat Gotham. I can see it in your eyes. You don't want to save Gotham. You want to teach it a lesson. A lesson that it can never forget. That fear is more dangerous when it's served but bloodied. Smart guy. So what are you suggesting? A team up. It'd be a lot easier for more than one people. I suppose that makes sense. But why team up with me? If you really want to be a hero with Gotham, why not join Batman? Batman and I have a relationship. We respect one another, but we have different goals. You see in different ways. You see more dangerous things. You see the truth about Gotham. No surprising there. It's kind of my job. But as your proposal, I don't see why not. On one condition. A venom. I'm gonna need it. Why would you need venom? If you don't mind me asking. Just in case if I have to deal with Batman or his people again. Sure, physical strength is good and all, but I know I'm not strong enough to fit. And I know, right now, Batman could easily defeat me if he wanted to. Yes, he could have, but he has not. Anyway, you think you can do that? I think I could give you the equipment that you need. Anything else? A hideout. I've been traveling, and I'm low on ammunition. I got the perfect place. This is when pretty much they get to Bane's new hideout. Which is pretty much an abandoned museum. A museum? Not the museum, but what's under it. Then this when he activates a trap door. He gets under there, and this is when he sees the place. Nice place. It will serve us for now. You learn something new every day. What the fuck is going on out there? This is when Izuku. This is when we get to Batman, who is treating Harley Quinn. Thanks, Bats. This is when he hears. This is when he sees Commissioner Gordon. Got any ideas? Nope. But he knew what he was doing. Who? This new Red Hood. He knew what he was doing. He knew where to take the shot. His privates are gonna literally have to be amputated. Which sucks for him anyway. Okay? And sucks for your whatever drives you up. Are you saying that Mr. J is gonna be neutered? Yeah. There's no way he's able to pretty much move after that. He's pretty much dead. His balls are pretty much dead. Deader than disco, in fact. Aww, life's cruel. Well, you should be grateful that this new Red Hood is pretty much sparing you. He's not. That mean he ain't sparing me. What do you mean? You're right here. That ain't sparing. He told me that once a year he'll come after me and take a piece of me. Quite literally. I thought those were just empty words until he took another piece from me. Wow. So he started doing that, huh? Yeah. So, Batman, you got any ideas? It's because I know I don't. All I can think of, the only thing I can think of is pretty much, let's wait. Wait! Batman, we can't wait for time to act, nor can we jump up to conclusions. With Bane and Izuku, who's pretty much setting up the location. That should take care of that at least. So, this is an old museum, huh? Yes. This place has been around for a good 10,000. It's a good centuries or two. It was actually built under an old home. This is when pretty much Bane lights torches, so light some torches. A castle? Gotham was a kingdom once, full to an ancient organization, calling themselves the Hidden Ones. Like the League, like Assassin's Creed. More like the Templars. But yes, similar to that too. Huh. Alright. What can you tell me about this? There's not much about it. So, this is gonna be our new base? Yep. Nice location, I'll bet. It'd be perfect. You got any other ideas? That's about it. Cool. But here's the reason why. This one he turns it on and sees a hidden computer. You really know how to do things, don't you? Yep. Alright. There you go. Sorry about the pausing. Didn't mean to do that. This is when Mizuku just sits there. Huh. Something you learn every day. But luckily when Izuku gets out of the location, but luckily when he looks around, this place is huge. Huh. It's perfect. A perfect operation. It's gonna need a name. The castle? Yes. You can't make a castle without making a name. How about the Blood Eagles? A fitting name, symboling of fear. I like it. Good, because I could not think of any other name. So, what we got on the radio this time? This is when I turn on the radio. Have reports of a hostage situation in the Gotham City Bank. Two robbers, heavily armed and heavily dangerous, is holding hostages inside. Shall we? Shall. And this is when they start shouting. Like, God damn it, I did not mean to say that. This is when they start to get going, and they get wrecked. Luckily, Izuku, this is when we get to the GCP, this is when they get to the bank. Now, the bank is alarmingly home to so many things. Now, when he gets to the bank, they pretty much kicked that they went to the opposite. Literally, they went under the bank. And Izuku has the venom extracted on it. Now, pretty much when they get there, and this is when they grab, this is when they get in sneakfully. This is when Bane said, this is when Izuku says, you take one left, I'll take one right. Got it. This is when Izuku doesn't even sneak up on him. He just taps the guy on the shoulders, and pretty much points the gun at him and just shoots him directly into the head. Huh. This is when Izuku just sits down. Huh. Well, actually, no, not just sit down. This is when Izuku just shoots him. Bane comes across other two men and literally just cracks their skull open to the point where you can see the brain gushing out of his hand. Ugh. Told you to wear gloves. I am wearing gloves. Just feels nasty. See, this is when pretty much other goons attack, and this one he just shoots him shoots one right in the throat. Hey, you recognize recognize these guys' logos? Nope. Huh. Yeah, neither do I. Hey, Joker's men? Joker's men. Doubt it. At least that much. Joker's men literally, they wear clowns. This looks different. Pretty much after he got done killing them, he takes a closer look. Oh. What? I know these people. They're the Riddler's thugs. Huh. Why would the Riddlers do? Why would Riddler's people attack? This one they hear, why don't we ask one? Why are you attacking the Gotham Bank? Gotta make money somehow, right? This is when Izuku will pretty much grabs the saw blade. Hey, that's still covered in blood. No, look. Riddler sent us here to pretty much get money. What for? I don't know. I swear, I don't know. All I know is that he wants it for something about recreating the Titan formula. Titan? Impossible. The Titan formula has been destroyed. Batman made sure of it. Explanation, please? You? Pretty much he explains the arc of incident with the Titan formula. So pretty much what I'm hearing is it's a super Jew. It's pretty much a super soldier. It's like a super Venom. No, that turns you into a what? A giant doomsday? A new version of a doomsday? Yes. Sounds like a freaking nasty cake. Ace of ouch. Normal venom would just cause mental no, it's not that cause that much badness. But with that, the other thing, So pretty much he explains the side effects of the Titan formula. Well, this is gonna be interesting. Where is your boss? I don't know. This is when he starts piercing the skin with a saw blade, with a bone saw. I swear, I don't know. He's the one who called us. This one they hear a phone ring. Hey, and this one Izuku looks around. I'm checking and this one he sees the guy. Oh, it's from you. Ooh. Answer that. I answer it. That's when he answers it. Voicemail. I mean, put it on speaker. Right. Hello? Randy, buddy, did you get the money? He looks at Izuku, and Izuku looks at them, along with Bane. Getting there, boss. Fantastic. I need to eat that money. The Titan formula, the last known Titan formula is pretty expensive. Although I kind of wish you didn't put this on speaker. Huh. So you're the new Red Hood that everyone's been calling about. Uh-huh. This known psychotic serial killer that's been roaming around the district killing people and all that. And you made quite a name for yourself, Red Hood. A way better Red Hood than the last one. So I'll pretty much I'll tell you where I'm having the meeting if you saw my riddle. It better be a good ass riddle, because I heard your riddles are shittier than the shit of taking a fucking toilet. Huh. Alright then. Riddle me this. I go up, but I never come down. I glow, but I never truly shine. I let creatures howl, but I make birds hoot. What am I? You're the moon. What? The moon. Was that fucking easy? See, make the birds hoot. Hoot? Come on, man. Even I could have figured that out in 30 seconds. And it's watching gay porn. I am the meeting. It's at 24. It's at the frickin' old candy shop that's been abandoned for 3 or 4 years. Old candy shop. Do you know any old candy shop? Look for a logo. Look for a logo of a cotton candy. Andy, man. Bane? Cotton candy. Yeah, I heard of that. The Mrs. Cotton Candy store. The Mrs. Candy. That place has been abandoned for years. Ever since Joker nearly blew it up with gas masks. Like with laughing gas. Looks like we're getting some sweet tooth. Does that mean I can go? Yeah, this is when he just shoves the hacksaw right into his skull. That takes care of that. Alright, let's go. Oh, agreed. This is when pretty much he gets going, and he sees the new him. Well, not the new him, but he gets to the location. So pretty much when he gets there, he pretty much finds this guy. He gets the location, and this is when he sees them. That's them? Yeah, that's them. I expected better. Like, seriously. This is when he sees the people. Isn't that Two-Face's men? How the This is when pretty much they see Two-Face himself and Riddler. And this is when the Riddler is holding the money. He set that shit up. What did he really rob? Where'd you get that much money? Hey, Riddler. Let's just say I know a couple of hacking. Izuku gets it. Oh, hack into the system. Let the guards cause the real distract. Let the Riddler's men cause the real distracted. So he has to split the price. Clever. Clever enough, otherwise they'd be alive. They've agreed on that. This is when pretty much Izuku Midoriya pretty much gets there. And this is when pretty much he sees him. Great. Bane is about to jump until he says, "Whoa, what? We can easily jump them." He points. And this is when Bane sees Batman. How did the bank has security cameras that he can hack into. And let's not forget, it phones that can pretty much listen to our talking. So, that actually makes sense. Although at the same time, why am I surprised that he's here? Probably heard about, I think the word Titan formula got him all gibberish. That could be it. So what do? We wait. This one Two-Face says, "Is this the real deal?" As real as I'm good at riddles. Let's see the money. This is when he shows the money. And this is when he shows the formula. This is when pretty much, as they're about to deal, but Batman takes out the goons one by one. This one pretty much, as soon as Batman is about to take out Riddler, this one Izuku says, "Now." This one pretty much they both jump down. Hello there, Red Hood. But Bane? Since when did you two team up? Why the fuck not? This is when pretty much they start attacking. This is when Two-Face and Riddler pretty much pump their body with Titan formula, and they pretty much get bulkier and bulkier. Izuku says, "Holy..." Oh, actually no. This one he says, "Mamma mia! That's a big meatball!" And that is not a racist joke, by the way. This one he says, "Agreed. Hey, that thing's you?" "Yep, that's Titan formula alright." "Who the fuck made this?" "Joker." "Man, I knew I shouldn't just shot him straight in the balls." "Well, that was you?" "Yeah, who you thought did it?" "Everyone thought that Batman did it." "How would Batman do it?" He doesn't even have the ball. He doesn't even have the balls to keep a woman. Ow. Huh? Or smart. Or enough to not wear a condom, actually. Bane is just trying his best not to laugh because he knows that's true with Talia al Ghul. Oh, and Catwoman. This is when Riddler and Two-Face just roar, and Izuku just looks at them and says, "Oh, you guys are ugly." This is when Izuku says, "Jeez, I thought Two-Face was ugly. I take it back. This one, Titan him is uglier." Like that. And this is when Izuku and Bane. This one Izuku pumps his blood full of venom. Same with Bane. And they start attacking them. Batman pretty much helps them. "Surprised you're not trying to take us both on, big guy." Batman. And this is when he just headbutts Riddler. Or Sometimes you gotta fight your enemies, sometimes you gotta fight with your enemies. This ain't your first rodeo, you're trying to say. Yup. Then you couldn't mind wearing some shampoo. Ow! Ow. Or at least wash your suit. Oops. I wash my suit. That mustard stain doesn't say, hey, you do. This is when Batman looks at the mustard stain. That was a one-time thing. And this is when Batman just gets pimp slapped. And this is when Riddler starts trying to suffocate Izuku, but Izuku directly kicks him directly into the balls. Which caused Riddler to go, riddle me this, Riddler. What's big, broken, and pretty much has a splitting headache. This one, Riddler just throws up. Yeah, that's right. Hey, your inside. And your skull. Izuku pretty much claps both of his hands together on Riddler's head, and all you hear is a splash. It's like a freaking nasty pile of freaking much sour or carton of milk directly right into the face. Ugh. Pretty much Bane fights Two-Face as well, and Two-Face is getting his ass whooped. This is when Bane towers over him. Before he can say anything, Izuku shoots him. Bane looks at him. Rule number 1, being a vigilante, being a villain, being the work we do. No delaying the kill. Got it. This is when Bane is thinking, you know, why did I not do that back in the past? This is when pretty much Batman just looks at them. Oh, you killed them. We kill a lot of people, Batman. And I can't let you go after this. We're not asking you to let us go. Besides, you and I both know... Oh, you can't. And what makes you so certain that I can't? You got civilians to have. You never know, they could be holding people hostage. This is when Batman starts scanning the area. You're right, they do. So you got 2 choices. Fight us, and, well, have this shit happen again. Or go after the civilians. Your choice. This is when Batman starts going after the civilians. Smart guy. This is when he just starts getting up. After literally leaving the place, because why not, Izuku and Bane walks off, and he starts deflating. Oh. Man, that hurt. Man, that smarts. I'm taking it as the deflating of the body I'm going to have to get used to. I'm afraid so. Whew. Talk about a sci-fi kick. Oh. Ow. Although I think I've done worse. Alright, let's head. Hold up. What? What is it? This is when Izuku says, duck! And it's, you know, a frickin' but Katana nearly hits them. Okay, that was a little bit close for comfort. Izuku sees that he's on Bane. Nice prep. Nice chest. Thanks. And this one pretty much they get off. Okay, who the fuck was that? And this one they just see Batman and Nightwing. didn't I break your arm? I mean, didn't I break your arm? Yeah, you did. Did? Well, it looks like I'm gonna break it again. Oh, I highly doubt that. Besides, we both know that is not true. I guess anything's possible. Sorry for the pause. This is when Izuku just walks up, just pretty much pops his knuckle, and pops his neck. He gets it, says, and today has only started. Who would have thunk? Looks like we're dealing with this. And you're saying this is the first, and this is when pretty much Batman and Steve start fighting them. He starts throwing more batarangs, but Izuku who dodges them. Okay, this is now just getting annoying. This is when pretty much Izuku grab. This is when pretty much they start fighting each other. Now this is when pretty much they start fighting him, but this is when Izuku who starts holding them back. This is when Izuku who is literally now just sitting there, waiting for striking. Well, actually, no, he does strike. He ain't fucking stupid. But unfortunately for them, Izuku, this is when pretty much she just looks at them. Looks like we're dealing with this. And he's pretty much more here. This is when pretty much they start fighting them. But this is when pretty much you in bed said, and Bane says, "It's getting a little hot over here." Yeah, I noticed. This is when they hear, "Oh, what's wrong? Can't handle it?" Don't know. Your broken arm says anything. This is when Izuku hits a weak point on the side. Ah, fuck. Like, aw, what's the matter, Nightwing? All bark and no bite? Oh, fuck you. This is when they start attacking again, and the fight gets worse for them. But Izuku holds on his own because, well, it's Izuku Midoriya, who is not Red Hood. Bane pretty much fights Batman, but this is when Izuku stops fighting Nightwing for a minute by kicking him right in the stomach. Make hard enough, he pretty much tries his best not to puke. And Izuku grabs his gun and just straight up shoot Batman right into the shoulder, which causes him to pretty much stumble back, giving the Bane the opportunity to strike. And he strikes. This is when pretty much he picks him up. Looks like I break the bat again, and breaks Batman's back. Izuku does the same thing by breaking both Nightwing's legs, arm, and back. Alright, the GCPD will be here any minute. Let's go. Oh, agreed. After they start leaving, because, well, let's be honest, no one wants to deal with that. After they left, And this one Izuku just sat. This one Izuku managed to get out of there. Gotta say one thing. That was interesting. Agreed. Learn something new every day. Don't we? Bane pretty much get back to the ground. Shit. Okay, that is actually the second time I encountered that guy. Who? That Nightwing guy. Hey, I've never seen him before. You truly have never. How long have you been in Gotham? I've been on the west side of Gotham. Not surprising. Nightwing tears to the north. Why not just take care of every sector? Gotham's a big town. I see. It explains a lot, actually. It doesn't explain why they attack. Doesn't explain much. Is there any other people I should worry about? Yes. There's someone named the Huntress, but she rarely pops up. Huntress? Yep. A Huntress. That's her name. Sounds stupid. Yeah, sounds stupid. Don't let that fool you. She is a mastery of what she does. She pretty much kills her target. She pretty much tries to kill her targets, but unfortunately, she could never could. What do you mean? Well, for starters, she doesn't know. She just tries. And tries she does. Huh. Thanks for the warning. No problem. And this one pretty much over the past 3 or 4 months, let's be on it. That's just gonna be fucking annoying. And so pretty much after, well, they've been doing this for quite some time, about 3 or 4 months. To the point where the Justice League even gets involved. So we go to Batman going to the Justice League. Hey, because his spine was completely destroyed. So you can imagine the pure anger that's in his voice. After that, this is when Izuku just sits up. Alright, that took care of that problem. But I got a feeling over the past these months, people are going to be noticing. I think people have already noticed. Why else would we be here? Huh, fair point. Guess anything's possible, huh? Yep. Alright, this is when Izuku starts walking. You think with all... This one pretty much they go to their next target. Okay. Which is actually surprisingly, we have reports of Clayface robbing a Sinestro Park, robbing chickens. It's at the Sinestro Park Zoo. What? Chickens? And that's a first. They start getting there. Or at least they try to, until someone stops them. Who stops them? Why? This is when they see someone drop right in front of them. And this is when they get into a fighting position. But this one they hear, peace. I'm not here to fight you. Then who the fuck are you? Oh, wait. I know this one. You do? Oh, yes. He called She's known as Catwoman. What are you doing here? I'm here to chat. I heard someone managed to be pretty much a big problem towards bats. Your point being, not many people could do that, especially do all that to him. And think and get away with it, in fact. So pretty much you're just taking care of things that need to be taken care of. Get to the point, Catwoman. Why are you here? To warn you, Bats is gonna throw everything at you. Especially since you killed both Two-Face, Ace, and Riddler last time. So he's gonna come after us because we killed one of Gotham's least dangerous people. Well, not only that, you got the attention of someone much stronger. Okay, who's strong? The Falcones. They're now hearing about you. Your little killing spree has pretty much been getting eyes and ears opened. A lot of people, ever since you came around, a lot of people that's pretty much scared. Why are you telling us this? I'm telling you this because there's a corruption much stronger here somewhere else than Gotham. Japan. You mean those people who pretty much must speak only Japanese? You're telling us that they're having trouble. She nods. Right, okay. Say we believe you. Why should we believe you? Because what you're telling us is probably false information. And we could die. Japan is pretty much growing crazier and crazier by the day. It's being run by someone named All for One, who works for someone. Who? We don't know. All we know is that this All for One is working for someone. He could be working with the Joker. But I doubt that. How come? Because the things he's been doing is not Joker-like. It's something more crazier. Something more crazier than pretty much... Right now? Yes. Huh. Okay. Huh? Better be a good-ass one. It is, I promise. The person is known as Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter. Yes. You're joking. Right? No, I am not joking. Who's Mad Hatter anyway? Looks like it's a history time. And here you go, people. History of Mad Hatter by the same guy that I mentioned. Not that. Okay, asshole.
A brilliant neuroscientist turns into a powerful mind-control villain, the Mad Hatter, origin explained. The DC universe has no dearth of unique and deranged villains, as Gotham is littered with foes of all forms, shapes and sizes, and today we'll take a look at the whimsical and quite frankly insane Mad Hatter. Jervis Tetch, often known as the Mad Hatter, is a supervillain who frequently appears in DC Comics as a foe of the superhero Batman. He is based on the Hatter from Lewis Carroll's classic Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, a character who is frequently referred to as the Mad Hatter in Carroll's adaptations. The Mad Hatter is portrayed as a scientist who develops and employs sophisticated mind control gadgets to affect and manipulate his victims' thoughts. He is one of Batman's most enduring foes, and he is a member of the Rogues Gallery, a group of antagonists who make up Batman's Rogues Gallery. The Mad Hatter has been adapted into a variety of media, including feature films, comics, television programs, and video games.
Oh, Batman, allay your fears, prick up your ears.
The Mad Hatter originally appeared in Batman 49, created by Bill Finger and Lou Schwartz in October 1948. Jervis Tetch is enamored with hats of all kinds and sizes, as well as Lewis Carroll's children's book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and its sequel, Through the Looking Glass, with the chapter A Mad Tea Party being his favourite. Jervis is obsessive-compulsive and delusional, according to Dr. Ballock of Arkham Asylum. Because he has an infantile self-image, he identifies with children rather than adults. Oh, and he's also a genius. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small clip for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
My childhood. It seems those near suicides had a run-in with a self-styled Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter origin explored. Jervis Tetch, often known as the Mad Hatter, is a villain who frequently appears as a Batman foe. He's a criminal with mind-controlling technology who dresses up as the character from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. Jervis Tetch, a brilliant neuroscientist, was obsessed with Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland from a young age and believed he was the reincarnation of one of the story's characters, the Mad Hatter. He dresses up as the Mad Hatter from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, as his criminal moniker suggests, and is quite literally as mad as the Hatter. Jervis Tetch, like most of the golden age of comics Batman villains, was a regular criminal with a colourful motif and dressing sense who was after commonwealth rather than specific trinkets. 8 years later, in Detective Comics 230, a completely different Mad Hatter appeared. A towering, heavy-set man with blazing red hair and a striking moustache who was obsessed with stealing hats and adding Batman's cowl to his collection. This version of the Mad Hatter, along with several other compulsive thieving villains, was later adapted for the 1966 live-action Batman show.
Don't worry, my friend, you don't need to watch.
His origin story, in the early appearances, is not very fleshed out, and all we get to know is that he is a deranged neuroscientist who created electronic machinery that can manipulate the brain and cause hypnotic states, and he frequently utilizes hats and other headwear to influence his subjects' minds. Tetch, as the Mad Hatter, has committed many crimes using his hypnotic skills for mesmerism, often themed around the book that inspired him and his love of hats and headgear, even going so far as to implant mind control chips in his hats, ranging from pip helmets to bowlers, to amplify his hypnosis skills. He specifically lusts after Batman's distinctive cowl beyond all others. Jervis Tetch is enamored with hats of all shapes and sizes, as well as Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and its sequel, Through the Looking Glass, with the chapter A Mad Tea Party being his favourite. He has obsessive-compulsive tendencies, is highly delusional, suffers from psychotic manic depression, and is occasionally homicidal. In recent years, it has also been suggested that he is a pedophile who abducts a young girl named Alice. He refuses to consume anything that does not include a hat. He has delusions and thinks in ways that are typical of schizophrenia. Not only is he recognized for quoting and associating with Lewis Carroll's Wonderland works, but he also has a hard time distinguishing between fiction and reality, along with rhyming everything he says if he gets nervous or flustered in any scenario. He'll go to any length to acquire what he wants. Taking a look at his first few comic book appearances, the Mad Hatter attempted to take a trophy from the Gotham Yacht Club in his debut appearance, but was stopped by Batman when attempting to loot spectators at a high society horse show. Tetch was then transferred to Arkham Asylum, Later, a very different Mad Hatter appeared, claiming to be Jervis Tetch, but he was quickly exposed as a fraud and dispatched as the actual Tetch reappeared. In 1981, the genuine Jervis Tetch made a cameo in Detective Comics 510. Tetch showed up with a pet monkey and a mind-erasing device. Tetch claimed to have murdered his impersonator, but the imposter reappeared in Detective Comics 573 in 1987, proving Tetch's claim to be false. Tetch was initially depicted with the mind-controlling devices for which he is now well known in Detective Comics 526 from 1983. He even slipped one into Scarecrow's helmet and took control of him for just a moment. Tetch also appeared to have died under the wheels of a train, which would have been a shame, losing such an iconic Batman villain, but this was shown to be a ruse. To commit his atrocities, Tetch frequently employs his sophisticated mind control devices. He is also a hypnotist and mind control expert. The Mad Hatter also has a unique understanding of hats, particularly one-of-a-kind headwear. He employs these abilities to fulfill his obsession with Alice in Wonderland. The Mad Hatter's physical appearance has changed a lot throughout the years, but he's always had the basic Hatter look, which is quite distinct. He was a fairly short, chocolate or auburn-haired man when he first appeared. He was shown as being of ordinary height and having blonde hair when he returned in the early 1980s. Later in life, he was once again short, but this time with white hair. Tetch now has red hair just like his doppelganger, although his size and height appear to be inconsistent. A slightly larger head and, more recently, rather large teeth are constants in his representations. Tetch claims to have macrocephaly in the most recent Secret 6, number 6, that dropped in December 2006. The Mad Hatter's origin in Batman, the animated series. The best villains in Batman's history have developed throughout time, and the Mad Hatter is no exception. However, he is one of the few villains whose changes throughout time were so drastic that they necessitated the development of a new character. The ability to influence other people's thoughts and control minds. The Mad Hatter's most famous feature wasn't established until decades after his debut appearance in the comic books. Jervis Tetch gets what could be considered as his official origin tale in Batman, the animated series episode titled Mad as a Hatter. He was a neuroscientist who used mice to test his mind control technologies. He had feelings for a co-worker called Alice, but being a quiet and socially inept man, he was unable to tell her. When he learned that she and her boyfriend were bickering, he decided to intervene and asked her out. To gain confidence, he dressed up as his favourite character from Alice in Wonderland and used his mind control chips to convince Alice that he was a well-known figure in town. He impressed Alice, and they had a good time on their date. When Alice's lover Billy proposed to her, Tetch became enraged and resorted to mind control to win her over. He lamented his decisions at one time, but he was adamant on keeping her. The Mad Hatter's despair pushed him to become a criminal. Batman was able to stop him and liberate Alice from the mind control.
Are you, the famous Batman, so intent upon destroying my happiness?
Obsession is the one characteristic that has characterized all of the Mad Hatter's incarnations. However, his obsessions have ranged from a desire to acquire remarkable and distinctive headwear to items related to Lewis Carroll's novels, particularly Alice in Wonderland. The Mad Hatter would be the center of Jervis Tetch's infatuation in Batman, the animated series, but it would be a woman named Alice who would produce the most captivating version of the Mad Hatter. This is where it's established that Tetch also has a thing for female adolescents and ladies, seeing them as the titular Alice from the books and often kidnapping them, and some interpretations of the character suggest he's a pedophile. Jervis Tetch became a staple among the villains of Batman the Animated Series after Mad as a Hatter. He would go on to play the primary villain in 2 more episodes of the series, as well as making brief appearances in 2 more episodes written by Paul Dini. Actor Roddy McDowall, who voiced Jervis Tetch in Batman the Animated Series, is one reason Dini's Mad Hatter may not have made it into the comics. McDowall was a talented voice actor, and his portrayal of Jervis Tetch, even in the throes of his madness, hinted at the soft-spoken and frequently gentle man he once was. Another problem is that no matter how sympathetic Tetch was, there was no excuse for the lines he broke in his quest to win Alice, and it wasn't compelling enough to merit a major reworking of the character's comic book narrative. Mad Hatter in various story arcs. As has been explored already, Mad Hatter first appeared in the Golden Age. The Mad Hatter began his criminal career by attempting to rob the members of the Gotham Yacht Club, but was prevented by Batman and Vicky Vale, and was taken to a psychiatric facility where he resided for many years. He later reappears in the Silver Age, utterly transformed. This Mad Hatter was proven to be an imposter, and the genuine Hatter eventually killed the imposter. Tetch grabbed Lucius Fox and held him for ransom when he returned. Jervis also intended to obliterate Lucius' memories, but Batman intervened before he could do so. Tetch eludes Arkham on Halloween and creates a new center of operations at the Hill Mansion, where the twin Hill brothers brought children to be abused and killed. He gathered the children for his Wonderland Tea Party and offered them drugged tea to make them submit to his demands. Batman, on the other hand, thwarted his schemes once more. After the crisis on Infinite Earths, not much of Mad Hatter's Golden and Silver Age history was altered. Tetch's next deviant plot involved giving away free CD players to young blonde girls from Dick Grayson's elementary school, which were pre-programmed with subliminal messages. Tetch planned to sell the enthralled young girls to Generalissimo Lee, a third-world despot and another notorious pedophile. However, he was captured, and it appeared that the Mad Hatter had been murdered when a train ran over him. However, it was later found that the death had been staged. The Mad Hatter was ultimately given a comic book origin after the events of Flashpoint. Tetch's obsession with hats began when Jervis's father was a hatter. Tetch used to be quite popular, and he and his crush Alice were close friends. He once took her to an Alice in Wonderland theme park, a memory he would always treasure and which would influence his future life. Tetch, on the other hand, grew a little in stature as he grew older due to a lack of testosterone, and was thus rejected by Alice. To reclaim Alice's affection, Tetch began taking medications that were supposed to make him taller, but instead made him insane, completing his transition into the Mad Hatter. Again, a different origin story from the one in the animated series, but stay with us here. All the stories chronicle his descent into insanity and have the same running theme of scorned genius, giving them a common ground. In the story arc The Unknowing, he caused absolute chaos by controlling the minds of many in Gotham, including Sacha Baudou, who was Wayne's bodyguard and also extremely close to him. However, Bruce was able to break the Hatter's trance by speaking to Sacha and conveying his raw emotions because he refused to fight someone he loved so much. When the Mad Hatter attempted to flee Arkham with a guard under his command in the Alone at Night arc, they were both caught in crossfire between cops. Hatter was shot several times and was in serious condition. He appeared to be dead at first, but later emerged as a collaborator with the Black Mask. He implanted a mind controller in Killer Croc while dealing with Black Mask, which caused him to mutate even more as a result of what Hush and Riddler did to him. The Mad Hatter is also at one point held guilty for a significant hostage bombing crisis in the unresolved story arc because he had commanded the bomber via his mind control technology, demonstrating that he can plan sophisticated crimes even from behind bars. The Mad Hatter then joined the secret society of supervillains during Infinite Crisis and fought the heroes in the Battle of Metropolis. 1 year after the events of Infinite Crisis, the Mad Hatter collaborated with the Great White Shark to frame Harvey Dent for the murders of all of Gotham's villains. When Robin and Captain Boomerang 2, Owen Mercer, went looking for his atomic weapon, his hideout was destroyed when he imprisoned Robin and his friends inside. Catman afterwards approached the Mad Hatter and invited him to join the Secret Six. He agrees, and his mission was to assist them in fending off Dr. Psycho's mind control talents. Later, the Secret Six were ambushed by Ragdoll, who was controlled by Dr. Psycho, and he had to put on his thinking cap. Putting on the cap, however, caused him to have a seizure. Doom Patrol assaulted the Six later, and they were nearly beaten until the Mad Hatter intervened and utilized his mind control talents to stop the Doom Patrol. The Secret Six tell Vandal Savage that they are his friends after defeating him and destroying his base, which makes Hatter very pleased. Ragdoll then pushes the Mad Hatter from the building, causing him to fall to his death. The Mad Hatter was later found to have survived the fall and vowed vengeance on the Secret Six. Turpin discovers in Final Crisis that the Hatter was vital in assisting Darkseid in bringing the children together through his use of mind control hats. Turpin, overtaken by a terrible passion he doesn't comprehend, brutally hits Hatter, causing a lot of tooth and blood loss. The Hatter admits that the youngsters have been brought to Bloodhaven after being threatened with brain damage. Darkseid's Justifiers helmets are a blend of apocalyptic technology and the Hatter's mind control circuitry, according to the Final Crisis secret files. In his final major story arc, in order to assassinate the Secret Six, the Mad Hatter set up a chain of events involving Ragdoll's sister, Junior, but he was destroyed after Ragdoll used one of his hats to induce him to leap over a bridge into water. Tetch, as it turns out, survived his fall and returned to work for the Penguin in order to deal with the new Black Mask and the Falcon crime family's return. Tetch, on the other hand, was returned to Arkham. He later plans a big prison uprising and employs Deathstroke to help him to escape Arkham. Terrifying versions of Mad Hatter in various forms of media. Actor David Wayne portrayed the Mad Hatter in the 1960 television series Batman. He was modelled on the Mad Hatter from the comic books of the time, who had not yet been exposed as a fraud. His main weapon was a trick top hat with a set of eyeballs hidden within that would spring up and blast a hypnotic beam at his opponent. Lisa, a female associate who worked at a hat shop, was his accomplice. She assisted Tetch in kidnapping her boss, who was one of the jurors who had assisted in his incarceration, as well as the remainder of his efforts to foil Batman and Robin plans. The Mad Hatter appears as both a boss and a playable character in the Lego-based game Lego Batman the video game. In his villain level, he joins up with the Joker. He has the ability to manipulate people's thoughts, wield a weapon, and double jump. He also appears in a number of other video games. In the video game Batman Arkham City, he appears as a villain in a side quest. Hatter also appears in Batman Arkham Knight's Season of Infamy DLC, where he has kidnapped a number of cops and is teasing Batman with their locations from a GCPD interrogation chamber. Finally, in the online MMORPG DC Universe Online, the Mad Hatter is seen as a villain. And with that, we come to the end of the origin story of the Mad Hatter, famous yet obscure DC villain and mind controller. He genuinely gives us the creeps though. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below.
Okay. After learning that, Izuku bluntly says, fuck? So what does this have to do with us? They gone completely mad. All Might became a villain. Everyone is going insane. Ain't there? Who? All Might. You don't know who... Oh right, you've been in Gotham, haven't you? Yeah, for most of my life. Well, here's the best way of saying it. If Japan falls, well, all technology will be gone. Meaning no video games, none of that. I don't care about video games. And no storage and no ammunition. Okay, now I'm concerned. That would be bad. Alright then, Catwoman, you got our attention. But if this is just some setup to get us out of here so you can try to raid this place. If I wanted to raid this place, I would have done it by now. Now, what have I? I suppose you're right. So how are we going to get there? Someone's helping us get there. Who? Who in their right mind would help us get there? When they get there, Izuku is surprised to see them. You got to be kidding me. I was not expecting you, Batman. I thought the thing I did to you, it would have been enough. Nope. We have other people help working with us too. Who? This is when they see the Man of Steel. Who's he? That's Superman. Oh, the bitch. Oh, your bitch. Got it. Superman is a little bit assaulted, but he doesn't take it to heart. And this is, yeah, I don't care. Can we go now? Oh, I agree. The more we waste time, the more... or we're gonna have to deal with the mess. So they get on the plane. This is when Wonder Woman says, you sure we can trust them? A little late for that, don't you think? Hank, are we going or what? We need all the help we can get. How long's the flight? About 3 days. Looks like we better as well get comfy. Hey. When Izuku gets to his side of the room. Oh, you got it. Huh. Looks like I'm shrimp. What's with the bunk beds? Oh, Batman wants to keep an eye on everyone, so he's setting up bunk beds. Bane? Right. This is when they start the sides of the rooms, and this is when they find 2 security cameras. Ah! They turn it off. Batman's thinking, clever. Jason taught him well. Motherfucker. And he just destroys the plane, destroys the fucking cameras. Nasty ass bastard. So what else what can you tell me about this person? You mean this Mad Hunter? Besides that he's crazy and he's a big fan of some storybook, that's it. Huh. Sounds like a child trapped in a man's body that's refusing to grow up. We all have our childhoods. True. Well, but I never really had a childhood. You didn't? Nope. Never knew my mom. I was raised in an orphanage, but it was hell there. Not as much as yours, though. I know about you, Bane. Living in Peñadoro and all that. And I know what you had to do to survive. So you do not judge me. If I was you, I would have gone the same thing. I can't even be mad. So may I ask you something? Go ahead. Why did you become a vigilante? I would say that if Izuku opens the door, and actually, you know, Nightwing, Robin, and well, Wonder Woman fall all down, mostly the Bat family. And Izuku just straight up looks at them. If we didn't have nosy people. This is when pretty much the Bat, Robin, and all that, they both smile like, except Damien. And Damien just says, you got something to hide from us? I don't speak to a set. I don't care about you. I could care less about any of you. To me, you're tools, and you always will be tools. Damien gets a little bit pissed and attempts to punch Izuku, but Izuku just swift kicks him right in the plums, headbutts him, and just kicks him in the stomach, sending him flying. This is when Batman says, "No fighting in the plane." Your sidekick started it. This one you hear, Robin don't attack Red Hood. This one they all three of them say, we didn't do anything! Oh, you mean Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson, and aren't you Commissioner Gordon's kid? How did you... Ooh, the blonde hair, and you both have the same mustache. She flips him off. Oh, no thanks. Oh damn, I realize how much time I'm wasting. And due to that having a 3-hour limit, Gotta find a way to break that, though. Oh, am I gonna have to make this into 2 parts? Looks like I'm gonna have to make this into 2 parts. So much for this being a one-shot, what if? People. This one Izuka says, alright, I'm going to bed. I am not dealing with this tonight. I'm getting some sleep. Agreed. This one pretty much they all get some sleep, but this one Bane says, you owe me that explanation. I will, once we get the chance. Although, I gotta ask, if you're asking if I'm into men, I'm bisexual. To me, it doesn't matter what you're into. Sex is sex. I'll keep that in mind. And that's a wrap, people. This has pretty much been, I guess, part 1 of What If Deku Was Trained by Wet Hood? But I guess, considering that I have that time limit, and also, like I said, the limit on my, if I had a higher chance of limiting it, yes, I would go higher, but I can't. So, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This has been Dunkle Dylan here, and I will see you all in the next vid.